you ever think about the fact that most of your clothing is made by children overseas? I'm gonna tell you why this. Okay. Do you ever think about the fact that most of your clothing are made by children overseas? I'm gonna tell you why these brands are no better or worse off than others, and how this mindset affects poverty-stricken communities directly. While this type of labor is inexcusable morality-wise, and yes, it is undeniable that child labor is a bad thing. Even big brands such as Nike have been accused of using child labor, so many of our common brands and things that we use daily are put out by child labor, and it can be very hard to go around and make it affordable. However, a lot of ethically sourced brands that are put out and they say that they're better for the environment and they make all of these claims are not better. They can also use child labor. They're also promoting greenhouse gases. They don't have as many benefits as they claim to have. So one of the big reasons of why necessarily writing off fast fashion completely is a bad thing is because this mindset affects the poor. It's very easy to say, don't shop at Forever 21, they use child labor, why don't you shop at Free People when you can afford Free People? But the price differences aren't really comparable. At Forever 21, you can get a pair of pants for $10, $15. At Free People, they're $80, $100. So you can see that the price difference, it doesn't make it affordable for the everyday person or for anybody lower than middle class. Like, this is not an affordable act unless you're really saving up your paychecks. So many of the fashion brands are deemed unethical. They are the only choice for a lot of families, and it's irresponsible to not recognize the fact that a lot of families, this is the only thing that they can do, and they want to clothe their children and they want to wear clothes, so they go to these fast fashion places. And a lot of people who are lower income also want to have the trendy clothes, and they also want to fit in and get kind of the best of both worlds type of thing. So once again, this seems to them to be their only option. So also, like, this villainizes the lower class, which the lower class has a lot of issues with villainization on a lot of things that they do to make ends meet. And when you're just working on survival, that goes above ethical consumption. And so also, a big point to this argument is that under capitalism, there is no way to live in a consumer society without causing harm. Anything that we do is going to cause harm because of the way that our society is set up under capitalism. It also makes a lot of claims that, like, lifestyle choices such as veganism and being a vegetarian are largely pointless because it just affects the system in different ways. So one of the big issues too is that to change these things, you would have to do a systematic reset, which isn't an easy thing to do. To change everybody's mindsets is not just an easy fix. It's not as easy as just saying, okay, well, let's all buy the more expensive product. Like, you would have to go in and societally change a whole mindset. And a lot of the better products, according to c4ss.org, they're not actually better, they're just more expensive. So they have a lot better marketing teams, and they like to use colors like green and stuff like that that make you want to buy these products, and you feel like that you're being a better person because you're buying these products that are deemed more ethical, but they're just more expensive, and we correlate expense to value. They're not actually better. So this is very comparable to kind of like organic foods. So with organic foods, we get organic foods, or they're labeled organic, and we're like, oh my gosh, they're so much better than us. They're so much better for us, and we're making healthy diet choices, but a lot of studies have shown that organic foods can be just as bad as them. They just don't have certain things, but they can be worse in different aspects. Why fast fashion is a problem? It does put out an unhealthy amount of greenhouse gases because the level of clothing that is being mass produced. So 85% of the clothing Americans consume is sent to the landfills. Also, as we know, they do present low wages for workers, and a lot of them do use child labor overseas. And we already have a lot of clothes in circulation that can be used. So some ways that this can be changed/solved is that instead of pushing people to go towards more what we deem to be ethically sourced brands, we can push them to move towards thrifting clothes and doing hand-me-downs, like clothes that we already have in circulation, instead of trying to buy new clothes. So then instead of shaming them and saying, well, why don't we buy this more expensive option that we deem more acceptable, we're saying, okay, here's an affordable option for you, but it also doesn't help the environment and it doesn't set us back as a society. And when you thrift, you're directly helping reduce environmental impact. You can even thrift new items online now on sites like eBay or Depop. One of my friends sells sneakers on Swoop, and all of these options are better than buying new because you're already buying clothing in circulation instead of asking them to do more. So while it is unethical to support fast fashion, we should try to be more empathetic with why people buy it. It's easy to say that you shouldn't support them when you have the means to shop otherwise. The villainization of the lower class for simply doing what they need to survive is cruel, and instead we should push people to thrift and look into secondhand options or hand-me-downs. While you might be able to make that choice, other people can't, so we need to try to not speak for other people and act like we know their struggles. So, and I think also if we can just change the mindset on this being a people versus people product, like I'm doing better than you, so I'm a better person, that type of mindset. This is a people versus the system issue. If we can make a systematic change even slightly, we can highly reduce the environmental impact and make choices that we deem are better. So, and change does not happen in a day, so this would also not be a thing that we could just expect to happen overnight and to just happen. This is something that we need to make a conscious effort towards and changing. Thank you.